it does on TV. So I think he sits back there, Vince sits back there and hears that and says, you know what, this is getting over. I don't think he goes back and watches a replay of Raw. You know what I mean? I think he sees it live, and then throughout the week there's no replay. I think if he were to sit down and watch the show, you know what I mean, just one time, just sit down and watch it, and then maybe you have a different opinion.
I think that's wishful thinking, man. I don't think he would change his opinion on, but no, I know he doesn't watch. There's that famous quote. Vince Russo said that Vince McMahon would always say that was last week or that was yesterday. Anytime they would ask about like a show that they just had, because they don't have any time to because they're live every week. They don't have any time to stop and look back and say, oh, that was good. That was last week. You got to start worrying about next week.
Move on, you know what I mean? But it's just a different atmosphere when you're there live as to when you're watching it on TV. You know what I mean? And I don't know. You would hope, man. Maybe if ratings continue to fall, continue to sink, maybe that's the time where, you know what, you have to change things. Whether you like it or not, you have to change things.
Well, the last time they were forced to change was when another company, WCW, was taking their viewers and their pay-per-view buys, and if they smarten up and realize they're losing a lot of fans to UFC, I mean, slowly but surely, people are being converted from wrestling fans to UFC fans, especially people who are on that age bubble where they don't like wrestling, but they watch out of habit, and then they see this cool UFC come in, which is like, to them, it's it's how wrestling used to be exciting when they were into it, you know what I mean? They can get into it.
I mean, I've just seen, in recent weeks, I've started putting UFC stuff up on the websites with the Fedor stuff and the Tito stuff, and obviously anything Lesnar and Lashley related. But there's a lot of talk on the WZROnline.com shout box. A lot of people, a lot more UFC talk than there used to be. You know what I mean? And I think as people continue to see that, you know what, UFC 100 did 1.7 million buys, I mean, people are eventually going to say, you know what, there's something here. There's something with this company that I need to check out. You know what I mean? And it's not just on a monthly basis. Like on a monthly basis, what their paid reviews are all over 600,000, 500,000. You know what I mean? I know UFC 100 was huge, but on an average, like UFC 101. I know it's got BJ Penn and Florian and
the draw before is Griffin and Anderson Silva. We'll talk about that a lot more later in the Fedor stuff, but yeah, the pay-per-view buyer for that one, it probably wouldn't even go back down. You probably still got some people, like brand new fans, that you got to have many brand new fans at 1.7 million buys. They've never had anything close to that before. That closest was like 1.2 or something, 1.1 before it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's a guaranteed 500,000 new people that bought the show, so Christ. I would think a lot of those people would at least check out the next show to see what that's like, especially since it's a decent-sized show in itself. And but I would say maybe 650, 700 range sounds about right.
650, yeah. I was going to say 700,000.
That's probably closer to 700. Yeah.
That's still nasty. You know what I mean? Compared to WWE pay-per-views that draw 150,000, 200,000 these days, unless it's a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. But WrestleMania doesn't come close to 1.7. You know what I mean?
1 point nothing, yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy, man. So I don't know. Guys, you can get into the live chat, and we're going to talk UFC 101 here in hour number 2, as well as we got to finish up Raw before we go to the break here in about 9 minutes. If you're listening live, the phone number to call is 724-444-7444. Call ID number is 30273, followed by the pound key. Live chat room, ProWrestlingScoops.com/chat. New URL tonight because we're having some site problems.
3-0.
3-0 what?
You haven't screwed up in three shots so far with that commercial, man.
As far as the chat block, no doubt. Monday Night Raw, Boone. Let's get back to this, and then we'll take a commercial break. Come back and talk a little bit of MMA. We'll open up number 2 with UFC 101 talk, and then we'll get to some WWE and TNA news and rumors, ECW, and SmackDown spoilers as well in hour number 2.
Fedor.
Shout out.
Talk about Fedor, too, yes.
Fedor, chat shout-outs, live phone calls. We got a lot going on in hour number 2. So let's finish up Raw. Let's do this real quick, Boone. Where we leave off? We left. Screw the backstage segments. We just matches. Beth Phoenix and Jillian Hall defeated Mickie James and Gail Kim. The matches on Raw last night weren't all that bad. The Divas match. I actually watched it last night, as I do most Divas matches, and horrible, man. Horrible work on a weekly basis. But last night, not so much, man. I
don't have anything to compare it to, because I haven't seen it in several weeks, but I thought it was a bad Divas match.
Really? Yeah, see, I've seen worse. When Kelly
that's
Kelly's
probably
in
why.
There and, yeah, but they brought Jillian Hall back, which is interesting because she's a heel diva. Obviously, bring her back, team her up with Beth Phoenix. They needed another heel diva there with Maurice. She's going to be out for about 3 months with a blown kneecap. So we will.
Michelle McCool too. She's out with a left knee injury too. I don't know if she's going to stay out, but she missed the Weekend House show because of it.
Right. It'll be interesting to see if she wrestles tonight at the taping, no doubt.
She's a champion, right?
What's that? Yeah, she's the Divas champion over on SmackDown.
Yes.
The Legacy beat Triple H clean in a 2-on-1 handicap match. This is a good match. This was at the 10 o'clock hour. I had thought, maybe a Randy Orton run-in, followed by a Shawn Michaels early return, but they didn't do that. Obviously, the point was they had Triple H lose clean, and then after the match teased that all he had to do was make a phone call.
Not only that, but if you look at it on paper and you don't read a description, you say Legacy beats Triple H clean. Even though it's 2-on-1, you're like, wow, Triple H laid down for 3 seconds, you let a referee slap his hand 3 times.
I know, isn't it crazy?
As soon as the match is over, let's not forget it's a handicap match with the top tag team in the company, any brand,
right.
And former champions, just lost the belts, and they're the top guys, blah, 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 blah. Handicap match, 2-on-1, beat them clean, and then Triple H gets on the mic, and what's the first thing you hear? I thought it was somebody in my house making a noise. I hear.
What did he say? Ow.
He said, ow. Ouch. That hurt, man. He acted like it was no big deal, like, oh, big deal, you beat me, and you got lucky, and it didn't even hurt, and next thing
how about the promo that he cut after the ow, ouch, whatever he did? How about
some crazy stuff? Yeah.
When he took a shot at Batista, said he's always injured, and then said that Flair was somewhere at the VFW signing autographs or something, which was awesome. That was come on, dude, shooting from the hip, baby.
I always picture Triple H, giving Ric Flair his hug when he's leaving and putting his little NWA title as cufflinks for his, his shirt at the Hall of Fame, and it's his big brother and this and that, and the second he leaves, and he's just some old fart signing autographs at the VFW. Jesus Christ, man. That's a little rough.
Oh, man. Little shot at, Ring of Honor there, because he's with them, and, ouch, man. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
Yeah, but he does tease. He said it by name. Well, first he said Evolution. That's when he trashed those guys. And then he said DX by name, so, it's definitely somebody from DX coming back.
Well, did he say
depending
DX
on what
by
we
name?
think.
Are you sure he said DX? I thought he said something like, all I've got to do is make one phone call to somebody, and if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you.
Yeah, that's how he ended
like
it.
That. Yeah, I don't think he actually mentioned it. Obviously that's what they're referring to when he did the if you're not down with that thing. But the DX, I don't think he ever mentioned those words. He mentioned Evolution.
Yeah, that's what I think I assumed he said DX because he said Evolution.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously where they're going with it. And then they had talk about this. They had the phone call later in the show where they teased that he's on the phone with Shawn, and
on a very, very new. He was on the same phone that I'm on right now. That's the phone I got to use to do the show because my cordless phone sucks.
Was it identical phone?
It's the same exact phone, yeah.
No
Piece of crap. I bought it for like $12 at like a Rite Aid or something.
What else? Well, I'm just kind of skimming through here, dude. Carlito.
Well, we got to talk about. If you're gonna, you can't just brush over that Triple H phone call. It was a lot of stuff. He said now if we're following the rules, obviously we're supposed to just say he was talking to Shawn Michaels, but if we're following the rules, he was talking to somebody in DX in the past. So that could be China, Road Dogg, B.G. James, Mike Tyson, if you want to get crazy.
Right.
Who else?
Right.
X-Pac. So it could be any of those people. But, yeah, it was got to be Shawn Michaels. And then he said something like the guy on the other end of the phone said he didn't want to come back. He wasn't watching the show. And Triple H said he knows he doesn't do jobs or something like that. And then at the end he says, "Are you ready?" Like DX, and whoever it was, Shawn Michaels hung up on him. So, wow.
Well, I mean, the line about you don't do jobs now. I mean, come on, X-Pac, that doesn't make any sense. China doesn't make any sense. Billy Gunn and Kip James, whatever you want to call him, and Road Dogg.
It doesn't make sense for Shawn Michaels either, unless you're talking about Shawn Michaels in the first DX. You know,
right?
Because Shawn Michaels, when's the last time he refused to do a job? I thought he doesn't even give a shit anymore, does he?
No, not these days. Not these days.
That's like an old reference. That's why I don't get it. But he did say, you always say you don't want to come back, and you always do. So that's got to be Shawn Michaels. Who else would that be?
Yeah. Well, nobody else makes sense, really. You know, I mean, two of them are in TNA. X-Pac, you know what I mean? What is that? The Triple H and X-Pac in China? Come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but China never left and came back. X-Pac left and came back once. Billy Gunn, I don't think he ever left and came back other than injuries. So I don't know. It'll
be interesting to see what they do here over the next few weeks. I think eventually it's going to lead to DX versus the Legacy at SummerSlam. Maybe Shawn will show up next week or something like that.
I'm wondering if they're going to have him show up.
No explanation needed or something. No explanation needed as soon as you told me. Or something like that, where he hung up and he was already on the way to the arena. He hung up the phone and he got in his car and drove towards Raw next week or something like that.
Or they could do something completely retarded and have him, no offense to Eugene, I see people talking about him in the chat. They could do something completely retarded, and they could have Shawn Michaels, like the first thing you see, Raw opens, boom. It's Shawn Michaels standing next to Triple H, and Shawn Michaels says something like, "Then let's get ready." Like, you know, he just answered, "Are you ready?" You know, and he finishes it as the first words he said.
Something. It'll be something like that because they're gonna.
I don't know. Do you think they're gonna bring him on next week or the week after, or are they gonna have him only come in on SummerSlam? I mean, because if you don't bring him in next week, that means if you bring him in next week, you have his return next week. Then you get 2 weeks to build up storylines for SummerSlam. If you don't bring him back next week, then you're down to 1 week for a return and 1 week for another little angle before the pay-per-view. So I don't know how they're going to do it.
I would think that they would hype it up. I mean, it's a SummerSlam match, unless they say something like Triple H will have a mystery partner, be Triple H and somebody versus the Legacy at SummerSlam. But I would say you bring in Shawn next week, and then you hype up. I mean,
in Calgary,
you know what I mean? I mean, that's right.
In Bret Hart's hometown, where Shawn Michaels is hated and despised. They forgave him once, but he still gets booed like a madman, and he's going to travel all the way to Calgary in his first match back. I don't see that happening anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I completely forgot that Raw was in Calgary next week. Good call, buddy. Good call.
Oh, I watch professional wrestling, and I follow professional. I'm loyal to the WZR Army because the WZR Army is loyal to me.
Yeah, nice, buddy. Nice, nice.
Thank you.
We gotta thank you. We gotta take a commercial break. What do you want to hear during the break? Here's your choices. Right, Jay-Z and Jay-Z, Kanye West, Rihanna, Run This Town. A little bit of rap during the break tonight. Jadakiss and Blue Da Vinci, the Eminem diss on Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon, or Jay-Z and Marvin Gaye, Hello Brooklyn.
Jay-Z and Marvin Gaye, I got to go with that one.
Jay-Z and Marvin Gaye, that's a good choice, man.
And I was talking about Bruno earlier. Put on Marvin Gaye.
It's not that gangster stuff, you know what I mean? So we'll put that on.
Kind of gangster,
a little bit. Well,
we got a little bit more Raw to talk. We got Fedor. We got UFC 101. We got your calls. We got the chat room at ProWrestlingScoops.com/chat. We've got plenty of stuff coming up in hour number 2. Anything I'm missing, forgetting here? What else do we got going on?
We've got a website named WZROnline.com that is currently down, and Ryan Clark's not that happy about that. And we've got another hour of Pro Wrestling Radio show to go, like Matty B just said. We've got chat shout-outs, live phone calls, UFC 100, the rest of Monday Night Raw,
news,
rumors, Fedor to UFC, lots of stuff.
What more do you guys want? Jesus Christ, we're giving you everything. Come on. We got 3 minutes of a commercial. Just sit there and wait. Go take a piss.